Tell me how you first got into the business. Did you go to school?
I graduated from college with a lot of debt, so therefore could not go to graduate school and needed to get a job immediately so I could start paying off my college debt, and lived a couple blocks from the US Capitol. And I walked up to the Library of Congress. We didn't have internet in those days. And I opened this big book of jobs. I mean, this book of like every job that existed, starting with agriculture and ending with, I don't know, zebra handler, probably. And I was like going through this book and I got to the B's and said broadcasting. And I was like, all right, I could do that. I'll do broadcasting.
Oh my God. Could you have picked a more difficult industry to start with? You should have started.
No, I didn't find anything in the A's. It was like acrobat, nope, I don't know. And I got broadcasting and I was like, I can't stand this anymore. This is what I'm going to do. Because, you know, my father kept saying, you have to focus and figure out what you're going to do. I'd been a political science major, international relations minor, and was actually recruited by the CIA out of college. And my father was very gung-ho that I go and do it. And I was terrified. They told me that I'd have to move to another country for 5 years. And
Wait, how did they know about you?
because they came to my college.
And what stood out about you that they thought you'd be good for the CIA?
Well, I was a political science major. I spent a year in Germany. I spoke fluent German and fluent French. And I really didn't want to do that. And I would have made a terrible spy, as I'm sure you know.
I think you would have made a great spy.
No, I would have blown my cover almost immediately. Broadcasting sounded like a good idea. I got a job as a camerawoman, and I was really bad at that.
How did you get a job as a camerawoman?
It was Arlington Cable in Arlington, Virginia, and I just stood behind a head and held it for, local shows. I don't know how I got that job. It fit under the broadcasting umbrella and I got it, and I sucked. There was a guy who was a researcher, and I thought, well, that's a job I could do. I could be a researcher. So I started looking for a job as a researcher because I was smart enough to know that being a camera woman was not, work for me. And then I got a job as a researcher, and, then I looked around and saw there was somebody who was an associate producer who I worked with, and I thought, oh, well, that's the job I could do. And I was working for a company called Chronicle Broadcasting, which was the Washington bureau for 5 stations across the country, including KRON in San Francisco. And the first month that I was there, the Challenger exploded, and I got sent down to Cape Canaveral with a reporter, and we covered that. And from that moment, I was just hooked on this business. And I got a job up at WNBC in New York and came up and worked at WNBC. And maybe it was just hanging around Rockefeller Center. Somehow I got a job at Donahue. Yeah. But I started in news and worked in news for about 5 years and loved it.
Wow. CIA. That's amazing. Do you ever think maybe I should have worked for the CIA?
Oh my God. No, because it was during the Cold War. They wanted me to be a spy. Like, I know they offered me a huge amount of money. Like, and I had this job offer. My father was like, you have to take it. And I was like, I am not taking that job. No way.